Welcome back to my channel, Jim, What Dugan Thinks. We got a Microtech knife here, a buddy of mine from the range. Says it won't fire, won't come out. So we're going to try to repair it for him. Just be aware that anything you do to this knife as far as taking it apart, even sharpening it, I hear, will void the warranty. So be warned. It's probably not a good thing to do if you don't know much about it. I've taken quite a few of these apart. I'm not going to bore you with sitting here and having you watch the entire video in real speed because it takes a little bit of time, and then this would be a 35-40 minute video, which I'm sure none of y'all are interested in sitting here and listening to me chatter away about this thing. So with that said, at some point here soon, I'll go ahead and speed it up so you can watch it at twice the speed. I fired it so it wouldn't be under spring tension. That's what you saw when I opened it up against the silicone mat. All these little pieces I take out with a magnet after I get them loose, which makes it easier to get them out. My hands don't work as good as they used to. Between age, some paralysis on one side, and just the shakes in general and whatever. But we persevere and move on. That's what we do in life. Try to continue as best we can as human beings. So at any rate, we'll continue to take it apart piece by piece. We'll let you watch it. Maybe we'll put some music in the background so it's a little bit less boring. But we're going to speed this up and let you pay attention to what's going on, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, we're picking the video back up at this point. I just taken my screenshot as well. I'm cleaning the holes out in the knife blade. It had a lot of junk in there and crap. The knife overall was not nearly as dirty as I thought it was going to be. He led me to believe there was going to be a lot of lint and garbage in the knife, but I didn't find that to be true. Although it was gunked up a little bit, we went ahead and decided to go ahead and clean the knife as good as we can. By the way, don't forget, please subscribe, ring the bell, do whatever it is you need to do to help me out would be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as possible. So we're trying to get a bunch of gunk and crap off the blade as well here. Again, this is a lot of boring stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up again so you don't have to sit and watch all this. This is the most tedious part of the knife. I try not to take these little flappers out because they're such a pain to get back in, but I accidentally moved this one and got it out of alignment, so it's not closing completely. It springs in and out. It's got to be sitting a certain way in there, and it's just a pain to try to get in there and get it finessed into the right spot. Between my hands and my eyesight, it's just not something that I'm willing to do. So I try not to mess with those if at all possible. But unfortunately, I kind of screwed this one up. But as you'll be able to see here, I'll get it straightened back out. But it's not the easiest thing to deal with. So I would recommend highly that you don't mess with it whatsoever. As you can see, I got it functioning again there. We are going to clean in front and behind it. I think it's important to get all that cleaned out as best as possible. The knife was not as dirty as I thought it was going to be, so I'm not quite sure why it's not functioning the way it should. Typically the Microtech knives are very hard to close. The opening's not as bad, but still a pretty tight spring, and it's a pain in the ass for my hands to actuate. I have other automatic knives like the new live wire that absolutely runs a lot better. I see it's got a 2-spring system inside of it, and maybe they don't have to put as much tension on the reload as they have to. I have some other brands as well that are not quite as difficult, and they're easier to deal with. Microtechs always have seemed to be the hardest to open and close in terms of my opinion. So we'll continue to look at things here and see how we progress. I'm going to put a little lube in the track area where the knife slides along. I know typically they say to run these dry, but I generally put a little lube in there. You see that I got the tension spring apart and all the different components. It's not a difficult knife to work on at all. It's pretty darn easy, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up again, let you guys watch it, and we'll come back to it again. This is not one of the more trickier places to work on the knife, but it does take a little bit of a delicate touch. My parrot is raising Holy Cane. He wants to be part of the show, obviously. You'll probably hear dogs, my parrot, and so forth in these videos. Part of having pets. We're going to clean both sides of the knife, and it's time to try to snap it all back together. I see that that piece is filthy, so I'm going to pull it back out and clean it. There's a little spring that goes in the bottom of that. I put a little lube in there to hold it in place. I guess I'll just let the bird have a fit. Bean! His name's Green Bean. At any rate, I'm going to clean that up as well. You know, you take the knife apart trying to film it and everything else, and you let things fall through the cracks, literally, and they don't get done. He's relentless on that bell, too. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Not much I can do about it. Here I'm trying to put the knife on. The cover is, I was trying to put the cover back on, and of course I got it backwards. And I do realize it at some point. I don't know how long it takes me, but you sit and think about it and go, why is that not fitting? And then you try it again in the same damn spot. It's like putting a USB in the thing. You know, you got to put it in one way, it's wrong. You put it in the other way, it's wrong. You put it back the other way, and it's right. If it's even that many times, it may be more. So yeah, I'm going to realize at some point I'm screwing up royally here. Pull that back out, look at it again. Said, oh, I didn't clean the other side. Oh my God. You know, future me can fix all the previous me or the earlier me would be great. But no, you sit here and you screw around with things. I used to laugh at Lefty EDC and think, damn, he keeps forgetting stuff and everything. The other day I was watching him do one of these knives, and then, well, of course he lost the spring. Had to look for it forever. That's why I'm trying to be more careful and keep it over a silicone pad with a ledge on it. Keep everything where it needs to be, and I found that the magnet's very helpful, especially if you want to keep things together, small springs and so forth. They'll even attach to the magnet. But at some point here, I'll realize I'm trying to put this stupid cover on the wrong way. Here goes the third attempt, and it's ridiculous. I'm an idiot. Come on, dude. Turn it around and act like you know what you're doing. It's not that challenging. There goes number 4. I'm leaving this in here to show you guys because I used to make a lot of fun at some other people that were doing this on camera, thinking how hard can it be? And I realize now that it's a big pain in the butt. So anyway, I finally get it snapped in correctly and got it the right direction. I'm going to put a couple screws in so I can test fire it. So that's what I'm doing now, is just putting a few screws into it. And this video is going a lot further than I had hoped. Even with cutting all the time back and everything else, it looks like it's going to be about a 21-minute video. Hope you guys can make it to the end. Oh, by the way, while I'm thinking about it, I am going to have a giveaway. I am working on it. My plan is to do it on the 18th, start with that video being published. I'm going to let the video run for 2 weeks until the 1st of October. I'm sorry, 1st of September. And I'm going to make a drawing. There'll be a word in there that has to be identified by the random picker. And you're going to have to be subscribed and like the video. And of course, make a comment with that particular item in it. And that will make you eligible. It's going to be for a Crosman air pellet pistol, 177. That's rim oil there that I'm going to spray down in it. People say use WD-40. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it tends to gunk things up. But the knife's working flawlessly now. It's just tight as crap and hard for my old hands to manipulate. But all in all, it looks like the project is going to be just fine. So we're going to continue on here and put the rest of the screws in and get it cleaned up. Another thing I noticed about this knife is that the blade on it is very dull. Feels sharp to the finger, but it won't cut paper for anything. I was going to sharpen it, but I decided against it. It's his knife. I didn't want to screw the blade up. My sharpening skills are not that good yet. I just started learning how to sharpen, and I have enough common sense to know that I would probably just screw it up, so I just left it alone. So at this juncture, we're putting the rest of the screws in, tightening them up. Oh, by the way, this little tool that I'm using, there's a misconception out there that these tools are very expensive and hard to come by for Microtech. Not the case. I got 2 of these that also removes the glass breaker on the back, as well as does all these screws for, I want to say, less than 20 bucks on Amazon. And then for the smaller Microtech knives with these screws, I had bought a knockoff from China, and it actually came with the tool, and it works perfectly on the original knives as well as the knockoffs. And I've been inside both knives. I can tell absolutely no difference. I'm assuming wherever the money is cut to do this, they're doing it on the blade steel if they're doing it anywhere, because the metal, as far as the case goes and everything else, I cannot find a difference in any of them. And I've bought in several different knockoffs and found this to be the case. I just like playing with the knives. They're not a use knife for me, so I don't care that they're a knockoff or not. I know some knife people won't agree with that. Get over it, because what I do is buy original knives as well, name brands and so forth, especially the ones that I like, and the semi-customs. Any rate, please subscribe, like the video if you would, please. Don't forget about the drawing if you'd like to participate in that. There'll be a full set of rules on the video that goes out on the 18th. And I really appreciate you guys watching the video and taking time out of your day to watch my stuff. It means a lot to me, and again, thank you, and have a great day.